They released Pennsatucky from the shoe. No, not the shoe, from Max. They had her down in Max because she OD'd and she got clean. So she was in Max. She was clean for 3 years and she came back to minimum security and went back to doing drugs. So now, Red is like her mom. So they're like, Red is hurt, but she's not as hurt as she was before, but she's still hurt. And Pennsatucky does what she needs to do to become clean. So that was like kind of sad that she came back and went right back to the drugs. Such a sad like day. So then that covered everything. So she's on drugs. Then the most tragic thing that had me shedding real tears, like it's still unreal to me, but Poussey was murdered at the end of the season by a guard. They were doing a peaceful protest because they could not take it anymore of how the OCOs were treating them. So they did a peaceful protest. The guards then forcefully tried to remove them from off of the table because they did their peaceful protest by standing on the tables in the cafeteria. And as they were standing up, the guards were like, take them down. So Crazy Eyes starts lynching. And Poussey runs over and was like, no, let me talk to her because they were about to take her to psych. And Poussey was like, no, just let me talk to her for a second. Y'all don't have to take her down to psych. Like, I'll get her together. So they thought Poussey was just running over there to be like violent, but she really just went over there to talk. He then restrains her with his knee in her back, and it's like he like severed her spinal cord and suffocated her by the way that he was restraining her, similar to Eric Garner in New York. Um, so she was dead. They didn't want to call the police because they wanted to have a story put together, formulated to spin it. They reviewed her record and said that Poussey was like a good kid, good health. They couldn't say it was natural causes. Um, it was just messed up of how you got to see the system work behind the scenes of how they tried to make it look like it was Poussey and it wasn't. So they couldn't spin it to say that it was Poussey's fault, so they said that it was the officer's fault. But it wasn't the officer's fault either. Um, it was a genuine accident. They tried to say that the guard was a monster. He was like unfit, and that MCC doesn't support that kind of activity. It really was one of the older guards who murdered her, listening to the new captain, and it was a true mistake. So it was sad and unfortunate on both ends because I genuinely liked the guard who did kill her, and I love Poussey. Um, so with them trying to figure that out, her body laid there for at least 2 days before they called the police. They didn't call her father. They left her body there in the cafeteria for days. And that correlated and tied into the Michael Brown and Ferguson, how they left his body there. It's so sad to me. So then they do the press release and says that things happened, that the guard was going to be suspended without pay for like 2 weeks, and then he'll be brought back. And when Tasty heard that, she lost it. Like, her scream shook something in my soul. Um, and the whole prison was walking the storm out in the outrage, similar to a rally like Sandra Bland. So they said that they picked Poussey to be the one to die, like they had to kill off because of what she had going on, and Like how they basically used her because she was the smallest, and they wanted to talk about the African Americans being killed um, by officers and things like that, and how grimy the system is, and how they move about it. So they wanted to shed light on that. So that's why they chose Pusey to go. Um, it was just sad to me, and it's like I feel like I commend them for shedding light on the situation and showing us and opening our eyes of how they actually work and how messed up it is for it to be a system that you're supposed to trust. My God. Um, and yeah, so they finally made the statement. They called her father to let her know that she was dead. And at the end of the season, the whole prison is storming out, mad, screaming, rioting. So I told you guys that one of the guards was like real messed up. So he thinks that after the death that he needed to carry a gun. So he talks to other guards into letting him bring the gun into the jail. When he sees all of the prisoners walking out rioting, he goes to grab his gun. An inmate sees it, pushes him, and the gun spins out into the floor. So Maria, and I told you all of the Hispanics, Daya starts hanging with Maria. So Daya picks up the gun and makes both of the CEOs get on the floor. Now you know the whole prison is now mourning because of their loss. And Daya's just standing there with the gun. Then the episode goes off. So that's how the season ended. So you don't know if Daya shot him or what she did, but I feel like it's kind of sad because she started hanging with the Hispanic group, knowing she just had a baby. She's trying to get her daughter back and all of those things. So you don't know until next season what she does. And that's how the season ended. It ended very sad, but it was a very good season. So if you haven't watched it, sign up for a Netflix account, log in, and please watch it. So thank you guys for watching. If you don't watch Orange is the New Black, maybe my review will make you watch Orange is the New Black. It's a very good show. So thank you guys for watching. I love you, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.